Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, 4 nerds by nerds, hanging out with this nerd.
Nerdarchy 10.
And I say to you, behold! We will show you beholders like you've never seen before. We're going to start this video by thanking our sponsor, Eye of the Beholder, The Art of Dungeons & Dragons, now on Kickstarter. And even if it's not on Kickstarter anymore, you can always go check it out. The link will be in the description below. Go support the hobby by supporting this documentary.
All right, so Eye of the Beholder, beholders. Let's talk beholders.
It's funny you should mention that because Asa, one of the writers over at Nerdarchy.com, actually did a whole article on beholders, do you know?
He absolutely did. It's a thing for making randomized beholders. If you happen to check out the other article with an accompanying video talking about the randomized chimera, we did a video on that. So let's jump into the beholder. It's a crazy monster. It's got a central eye, lots of eye stalks. So if you look at his article, it's linked up with Chartopia so that you can combine these things together and make a beholder unlike any beholder you've seen before.
Well, speaking of links, not only will the link to the Eye of the Beholder be in the description below, so will the link to the actual article we're referencing.
All right, so you have the ability, using this randomized beholder, you can create the number of eye stalks, what those eye stalks do, as well as what the power of the central eye is.
I believe the process is first you determine the power of the central eye, then you determine the number of eye stalks, then you determine the power level and what those eye stalks do.
Now, I made up 2 sample beholders here using that, as well as, because all of the eye stalks, you get somewhere between 5 and 12, I think it is.
5 and 15.
5 and 15. Could you imagine a beholder with 15 eye stalks? Totally crazy.
That's 50% more eye stalks per beholder.
But all of those they've randomized all of the spell options and the level. So like you could totally have an eye stalk that does resurrection. What kind of craziness is that? But anyway, the eye powers of that central eye, there's only 8 options. You can get an anti-magic cone, you get a dancing cone, you get an I see you cone, you got a cone of laughter, a chaotic cone, which that basically means it does a variety of different elemental damage. You got a cone of silence, you got a negative energy cone, and you've got a cone of sheep.
Wait a minute, did you say the chaotic one does a variety of different damages?
Yes.
See, I just assumed it was going to be like confusion or something.
That could work, but the chaotic cone, the beholder's central eye creates a cone of elemental energy of its choosing. Acid, cold, fire, lightning in a 150-foot cone. The area fills with whatever manifestation of the chosen energy type the beholder wants. Creatures in the zone move at half speed and take 48 damage of the chosen energy type. At the start of each turn, the beholder decides which way the cone faces and whether the cone is active.
My God, it's crying acid.
So those are some pretty cool options. So like I had done with the randomized chimera, however you want to pronounce it, I did some options for the beholder. Given how much things you have to choose, I only made 2, and it's pretty hilarious.
So is this you randomized it?
These are utterly randomized. I had in the second one,
Beholder number 1, behind door number 1, we have our lovely first contestant, Beholder number 1.
Beholder number 1, the central eye is a cone of laughter. All creatures in a 150-foot cone emitted from the beholder's central eye break into unexplained laughter, causing them to fall prone. The laughter persists as long as they are in the cone. If they are standing at the end of their turn, they fall prone again. At the start of each turn, the beholder decides which way the cone faces and whether the cone is active. There's no saving throw listed here. If you're there, you're just laughing. End of story. That's pretty harsh.
That is pretty harsh. You're kind of boned.
So this beholder happens to have 11 eye stalks. It's got a 3rd level hypnotic pattern, a 7th level resurrection, a 2nd level silence, a 5th level creation, 6th level harm, 5th level banishing strike, 1st level inflict wound, 2nd level locate object, 1st level shield, 7th level conjure celestial, and 4th level polymorph. Its cone is about laughter. It's got all of these crazy, ridiculous ideas, I totally see this guy as a prankster.
Yeah, I was gonna go with stand-up comic myself. Like literally, you can make them laugh. If you give a heckler, you can silence them. Maybe your audience is a little dead, so you need to, resurrect them.
You've got hypnotic patterns. You can totally do a performance
You
thing.
can totally make sure they get their 2-drink minimum in.
Locate object. I think is a little wonky here. Conjure celestial, and then to make them laugh would be pretty
Locate
hysterical.
object really, like, if you want to have if you want to have the audience participate, I think that works because you can find the object you're looking for. I guess at first I heard create object or something along those
They
lines.
got creation.
Oh, so you can make something. Oh, that's perfect because I have a plan for that.
All right.
That is for your physical comedy. They can make the things they need, like a pie in the face.
Nice. So they don't need to come with the props. They just make them.
They make them as they need them.
Fourth
yes.
level polymorph. You're not digging what they're throwing down. They're just going to turn you into something else. I love this guy. I want to use him somewhere. Utterly ridiculous, but the fact that he's got an eye stalk of resurrection. Holy crud. But harm, inflict wounds. If you're not digging what he's throwing down, he has no problem bringing the pain.
Laugh or else.
All right, so with my second option, I did have to make a tweak, and that was because I had an eye stalk that produced a power very similar to what the central eye does, and I'm like, no, I'm not having a double here. So this one has the cone of silence. Beholder's central eye emits an area of silence in a 150-foot cone. All creatures in the zone are under the effects of the silence spell. At the start of each turn, the beholder decides which way the cone faces and whether the cone is active. He's gonna stop the other beholders guys from laughing. You can't laugh because you can't make a sound.
He just wants the world to go quiet. How many eye stalks did you get?
So this one doesn't have quite as many. He only has 8 eye stalks, so 20% less than your typical beholder. But he starts off with a bang. 9th level power word kill. It goes downhill from there, but that's you don't need much more than that, I'm telling you. You got 3rd level aura of vitality, 8th level anti-magic field, 2nd level rope trick, 5th level legend lore, 4th level giant insect, 3rd level clairvoyance, 8th level control weather. We have some big hitters here. Power word kill, anti-magic field, control weather. This guy's got the ability to shape whatever he wants.
Yeah, so the question is, what is he doing with all that power? Control weather, anti-magic field, pretty big deal. So rope trick is kind of a weird one. Legend lore, he can gather information with. Aura of vitality, power word kill, so he can shut things down when he needs to, and he's creating silence. So, which with creating silence, that is almost anti-magic, but not quite.
Mm-hmm. The fact that he's got silence out front, anti-magic, anywhere else he needs it, he's got the ability to really control the areas around. I think this guy is more of a powerhouse than our first guy, even though he's got less eye stalks.
So, the interesting thing about the concept of changing up your beholder anyway is just the fact you're going to give your players something they're not expecting. And then trying to figure out what the personality is going to be for your particular beholder. Like this beholder, like the second beholder, the thing about him is he doesn't have the ability to really shape the world around him the way a standard beholder does. Mm-hmm. They have telekinesis and they have disintegrate, which they use those things to great effect. We're looking at someone here that they can shape the weather, but that's not going to help you build. Mm-hmm. You can make giant insects offensively. That's kind of cool, but it's not going to help you. He can gather information through his legend lore. He can kill things. He can turn off magic, and he can look into other places.
So, like, what if this guy is a broker, like information. He knows where things are. Knows things that other people can't know, and with his defensive stuff, anti-magic field, power word kill, like he's a credible threat. So
even his cone of silence when he doesn't want things to get out.
Yeah, so like he's got the ability to use blackmail. He's got the ability to buy and sell information. So maybe he's not as xenophobic as other beholders might be.
He can't be. He actually needs others.
That's true.
He needs people to manipulate things and use hands. He's really powerful and he's really cool, but he ain't got no thumbs. Can't pick up a coffee mug without thumbs. So he actually needs others. Now he has the ability to easily intimidate them into doing what he wants. And even his aura of vitality is going to be another factor that is going to work into the idea of minions, right? So with with the first one is kind of like a joke, right? The way it just happened to work out, and so we came up with a joke response to that.
But I mean, in essence, the first one, he's got some cool powers. Being able to force a celestial to do your bidding, having a ray of shield. That means he's always going to have a better armor class.
Yeah, it's going to be five above. Yeah.
That's like, whoa.
But the second one, like, I think this is one that you can actually put into your game. And I like the idea he's an information broker. He's almost like he is your stealth beholder. In essence, he's doing a spy and espionage type stuff. Not directly, but he's the hub where the information is going to come through. He can look into other places. He can put up silence, so silence around him. So if he's having a conversation, that you're not going to hear through the silence. So he does have some options.
Right. So I think those are some pretty cool things that you can do. And, using this as a guide, you have the ability to, create your own beholder that, is vastly different from the beholder that's in the monster manual. You've got the ability to put crazy chaotic powers for your central eye as opposed to just an anti-magic cone, and then give it some cool eye rays. I would not suggest being like, oh, well, I'm going to take the most powerful spells, give them all of his eye rays, and then, a crazy eye beam of death, and call it done, because that's not flavorful and fun and useful. That's just a unholy terror that your party is going to have to face.
Now, in all fairness, Asa put this together as kind of a lark, and he admits it's not balanced, and he wanted to use Chartopia and make these random charts. The truth of the matter is there is a section also in Volo's Guide on Beholders, and they do talk about swapping things out, and that is more balanced. And they're like, hey, if you change this, you can add this instead. So I feel like, with the information in Volo's Guide, the Monster Manual, and Ace's article, you can play with those things and have a lot of fun and create a completely new and different type of beholder. So you have some guidelines to play with and maybe some inspiration to draw from. The question is, guys, what kind of beholders are using in your world? Do you change them up, use them as is? What's the deal, yo? Let us know down in the comments below. While you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
After you do all of that, don't forget to go to the description and check out Art of the Beholder.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.